Yeah. Captivity got me. Living in poverty, I'ma be obviously not so particularly happy. Out of my reach, if life is a beach, then why can't I catch me a wave? We dying these streets and we dying to eat, and we trying to be stronger than brave. How long are these days? I'm looking for something to change, but nothing is working. I'm feeling this pain, I wanna keep moving, but I can see something is hurting. Ain't nothing for certain but death. We living to die. My people been scattered all over the world, now we living a lie. Captivity, why? Why do we have to be sold away? I see how we live in this spiritual prison, I wanna go home today. But somebody's living my life and I know I'm the reason I'm still in the pit. I'm trying to remember myself and I'm ready to change, I'm sick of this shit. How do I even begin to be right? How can I die when I'm already dead, don't know what the end will be like? I sound like the enemy, right? I know, but I'm fighting it off. Captivity got me. I'm sharing my thoughts and I'm writing them off. I'm a soldier of the Lord. I'm a soldier of the Lord. I'm a soldier of the Lord. I'm looking for something to blame, but hoping for something to change me. Captivity making me mad, I'm doing so bad, it's making me angry. Reality smacking me down, and poverty making me drink. Remember the laws of the Lord, stay focused and try to keep walking it straight. Talking a little but walking a lot, stuck in the middle of water and fire. Sin be having me talking a lot. I'm telling the truth but they call me a liar. Maybe I'm fighting the battle for nothing. Maybe my people don't want to be free. I just don't want to believe that we lost, but I can believe what I want to believe. Remember the fight, remember the struggle, remember the hell. Remember to write. Captivity sending your brothers to jail. Opening mail is hard. Struggling paying these bills and barely surviving. Hoping to nail a job. Struggling paying these bills and barely surviving. Why they keep calling us free? Why they be acting like we ain't the ones on the bottom? Maybe they really don't see. Why is that officer free when they know that he's shot? Captivity's calling, but I'm not gonna pick up the phone. I need me a break, pour me a drink, tell them to leave me alone. I'm a soldier of the Lord. 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 Captivity got me. Watching my brother turn into my enemy, wondering how to get past me. If ever you ask me, I'll tell you the reason we live in these curses. We studying money. We know that we need to be studying verses. Give me the Bible and open it up. My only survival is written. I want to be ready whenever the chariots come. I'm truly and fully committing 100%, and I'm not going to be sitting. I'm going to be working. I'm not going to be kidding. I look to my life and I see what I'm missing. I got to be focused and paying attention. I'm paying attention to the people I know. People may come and people may go. Some of them really going to be in the cut, but some of them really just put on the show. Yeah. Captivity got me. Watching my brothers to see if we brothers for real I could possibly not be. Breaking me down, but spiritually I'ma keep getting back up. Captivity want me to stay on my back, but spiritually I'ma keep getting back up. I know who I am, I know that I'm strong, I know that I'm ready to finish the fight. I know that I've never been scared of the pain, I'm ready to change, I know that I'm right. I'm a soldier of the Lord. 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 I'm a soldier of the Lord.
send them prayers up. And then the blessings come down. Yeah. Let's get it. I pray material things never blind me. I pray all this fake love will never find me. I pray I don't have fear for any other man. What I pray for the most is that you understand. I pray material things never blind me. I pray all this fake love will never find me. I pray I don't have fear for any other man. And what I pray for the most is that you understand. If you say you're a king, you gotta have the standards. I say that I pray when I don't have the answers. Don't know the way, then prayer has to come in. It's okay to pray and don't ask for nothing. Ready for war, but I pray for peace. Know the book says, don't let your prayers cease. Pray for the strength to pray for enemies. Pray to forget these childhood memories. Put on these size 11s, it's the wrong shoes any day. Cowboys team, man, you're gonna lose anyway. Don't come for me, sorry, I don't got a team. Can't be MLK if I never said I got a dream. I pray to Yahweh that he bless you. I pray that you pass, cause life will test you. I pray on the days that things are stressful. Remember, Israel to God is something special. I pray material things never blind me. I pray all this fake love will never find me. I pray I don't have fear for any other man. What I pray for the most is that you understand. I pray material things never blind me. I pray all this fake love will never find me. I pray I don't have fear for any other man. And what I pray for the most is that you understand. Yahweh Shah came so he could feed his people. Solomon prayed that he could lead his people. Wise as he was, he didn't see the evil. I pray for the day Yahweh frees the people. Babylon the Great breaking all walls down. Kanye's song, when it all falls down. I pray every day, that's a part of me, that we all celebrate like classic R&B. Cool in this gang, there's so many speakers. I pray that you learn, we have so many teachers. I pray for the kingdom, cause it needs to come. I pray for Isaiah 14:1. Always be thankful, what my lady said. Don't ask for much, just my daily bread. I pray on the days that things are stressful. Remember, Israel to God is something special. I pray material things never blind me. I pray all this fake love will never find me. I pray I don't have fear for any other man. What I pray for the most is that you understand. I pray material things never blind me. I pray all this fake love will never find me. I pray I don't have fear for any other man. And what I pray for the most is that you understand. We send the prayers up, and then the blessings come down. Prayer's y'all weapon, y'all. Make sure you pray every single day. Don't just ask for things, but pray to the Most High to deliver us.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Back on another Thursday. Lord's will, this won't be a long class, but all praise and glory to the Most High. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatham, Washimaratham. Hope all is well with everybody out there, man. I know a lot goes on in the world and in our lives and stuff like that, you know. That's why I'm kind of doing this class, The Battle Within. So, you know, we have the world to fight against, and we have, you know, you got to deal with everything, right? The world, your jobs, people, you know, Esau, just everything, you know what I mean? Even your own house. But it all starts with yourself. You know what I mean? It all starts with yourself. We pour a lot into our nation and our people, but it starts with us. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Mike Allah in Detroit can attest to that. You know what I mean? We talk about this type of stuff all the time. You know, it's a heavy weight to carry, you know, that we deal with. So I'm going to start with this. Hopefully this class not too long, like I said. I know it's Thursday. Some of y'all got to go to work tomorrow. So we'll start with this. We'll get 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Okay, make sure y'all can see. All right, 2 Corinthians 13 and verse 5 says, examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. All right, so this is one thing that we have to keep in mind all the time, every day. You know, it's a lot of discussions that happen amongst brothers and sisters, sisters and sisters, brothers and brothers. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't really fully examine themselves, but it's because we battle ourselves a lot of times. You know, and we have to learn to fight these battles within ourselves. So we're gonna go to the brother Paul, you know, because Paul breaks it down very heavily about the things that he battles himself. But it doesn't just apply to Paul, it applies to all of us. You know what I mean? So let's go to the book of Romans. Book of Romans, chapter 7. And we'll start at verse 7. All right. Book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 7 says, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? Yahweh forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. Right? Because, you know, we know that covet is like a very deep want, so on and so on. Paul said he did not know sin until the law, right? He didn't know sin until the law. And I tell people this all the time. Salakia, one more. Salakia. I tell people this all the time. If you don't know the law, you don't know where you sin. You can be in sin, but if you don't know the law, how will you know, right? How will you know? Let's get that, right? 1 John chapter 3. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4, right? 1 John chapter 3 verse 4 says, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. So we have to know, it's imperative that we know the law so we know where we sin, right? So Paul is telling you he didn't know certain things. Paul was a Pharisee. So he's a keeper of the law, you know what I mean? He distributes the law to the people, so on and so forth. He judges people, so on and so on. But remember, these Pharisees in these times had their own traditions. So, and we fall into that custom as well, right? Where we live in this world, but we're supposed to be set apart, all right? But we live in this world. Let's get another one. Romans 4 and 15. Romans 4 and 15 says, because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression, right? Where there's no law, there's no sin. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have people in Christianity who will be like, oh, you're just a good person, you know, whatever. That ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? The law shows you where your sin is at. It's a guideline. Gives you an outline of where your sin is at. You see what I'm saying? So where there's no law, there's no sin. So if you're just you shouldn't just be a mean person, you know what I mean? But if you're just a mean person, where is the sin in that? You see what I'm saying? Show me the law that says, oh, don't be mean. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Stop adding to the law and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You can't do that. Let's get another one. Chapter 5, Romans 5 and 13. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed where there is no law. You see what I'm saying? So you can't just be like I said, you can't be like, oh, you're a mean person. Oh, you cuss too much, or I don't even know how to describe that, but you can't just add to the law. You can't say that someone is in sin because of how you feel. That doesn't work like that, right? Let's get Romans 3. It See, the brother Paul is explaining a lot of things that has to do with his inward parts. You see what I'm saying? I like Romans chapter 7 because he really describes it. Romans chapter 3, verse 20 says, therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin, right? So we know sin because of the law. All right. But the deeds of the law does not justify you. That is very specific. You know what I mean? A lot of times when Paul is writing these letters, he's talking about like circumcision, so on and so on. You know what I mean? Animal sacrifice. You know what I mean? Those things don't justify you. You see what I'm saying? Just like he talks about in Galatians, the works of the law. You know what I mean? Those are the works of the law, those types of things, right? The law itself will help keep you righteous. You know what I mean? Let's get one more on this. Psalms 19 and verse 7, right? Psalms 19 verse 7 says, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. You see, so keeping of the law is great reward. There's a great reward for that, right? So Paul is going through this, and he's showing you the battle that he's dealing with himself. And like I said, it doesn't just apply to Paul. You know what I mean? This is for all of us. I know I battle myself all the time. I battle myself all the time. You see? All right, let's go back to Romans 7. And where was that? Verse 8? Okay. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. Right? Because sin, or the law, shows you where your sin is at. Verse 9, for I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. All right. Before I give you some precepts for this, I was alive without the law once. Yes, you are fleshly living without keeping the law, but he is spiritually dead in sin, right? So now once he learned the law, sin revived. Now he understood. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? All right, let's get the book of Mark, chapter 7. Okay, I typed that wrong, I guess. All right, Mark chapter 7 and verse 9 says, and he said, Salaki, there we go. And he said unto them, full well ye reject the commandment of Yahweh, that ye may keep your own tradition. We have our own traditions. We follow a lot of us live in America, right? So we follow stupid American traditions. We have Christmas, we have Thanksgiving, we have, just anything. You can look at simple things that you hold to, that America holds to, that you follow. And we follow those traditions rather than the traditions of the Most High, right? Let's drop down to verse 13. Making the word of Yahweh of none effect through your tradition, which ye have delivered, and many such like things ye do, right? So we do a lot of these things. So like I said, I only pointed out a couple, but we do a lot of these man-made traditions. We do a lot of these man-made traditions. We don't utilize the Most High to fight our own inner lusts and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? We just run with it. We go with the flow, right? Let's get Psalms 40 and verse 12. Book of Psalms, verse 40. All right. chapter 40, verse 12 says, "For innumerable evils have compassed me about. My iniquities have taken hold upon me." This is what Paul is going to. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying a lot of us deal with. Yes, we try to be righteous. Yes, we follow the law. Yes, we keep the commandments. Some brothers and sisters teach one another, so on and so on, right? And we're trying real hard to be in this faith, but let's be honest, we all got flaws. That's one thing, me and Elder Zahab and Priest actually talked about that a while ago, especially with leadership, right? And I'm sure that Michael Holla and Debat can attest to this. When it comes to leadership, everyone looks for leadership to be flawless, but that's not a realistic expectation you should have. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we probably should be a little bit better and stuff like that, but don't look at your leadership like they should be completely and utterly flawless. Don't do that, because then if your leadership slips, you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh," and you know what I'm saying? And yeah, now you set yourself up for failure. You know what I mean? So don't do that to yourself. Let me see. All right, mine iniquities have taken hold upon me, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than the hairs of my head. Therefore, my heart faileth me. Right. So, and who wrote this? A Psalm of David. David is telling you, you know what I mean? The king, he's telling you that he has these problems. You know what I'm saying? He's telling you that he has these problems. And David was handpicked by the Most High. You know what I mean? David was handpicked by him. So don't set yourself up like that. Let's get the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 7. Salakia, 1 second. Salakia. Romans chapter 8, verse 7 says, "Because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be." Right? The carnal mind is not subject to the law of God. We use the word enmity all the time, right? Love of the word is enmity with God. The love of or enmity, let's go to that in the Greek, which is ekthra, right? Which means hatred, right? Opposition. That's what that means. Enmity is hatred towards the Most High. You see? All right. For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. Right? Because the carnal mind, what is carnal? Sarx. To be carnal is of the flesh. Right? We have to be born of the spirit, right? Not of the flesh. The body of a man. So to be carnal is to be fleshly. You're not. So when you hear people, and I've told y'all this before, like people will be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just spiritual." No, you're not. No, you're not. You carnal. You fleshly. You see what I'm saying? And a carnal mind is enmity against God. Right? Let's go back. Romans 7 and 10. That's where we're at, right? Yeah. Romans 7 and 10. "And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death." Why do you find it to be unto death? Because you have to put off that old man. You die, that old man's supposed to die, right? Let's get some precepts. I got a lot of precepts for this, all right? I got a lot of precepts for this. Leviticus 18. No, yes, 18 and verse 5. Leviticus 18 and verse 5 says, "Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord." Right? So we'll live in these statutes and these judgments and these commandments. We'll live in the law. That is what makes you alive, right? The spirit quickeneth, correct? Ezekiel 20 and 11. Ezekiel 20 and 11. "And I gave them my statutes and showed them my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them." You see, so our carnal minds allow us to live by tradition, man's tradition, not the Most High's tradition. A lot of people don't want to follow law, right? A lot of people don't want to follow the law. A lot of people want to be able to do what they want to do. Let me see. Let me think of an example. We'll say something simple, right? I've heard brothers who don't want to wear fringes. You know what I mean? Because they're like, "Oh, yeah, I got spiritual fringes," or whatever. But the book of Numbers says to put on physical fringes as a physical reminder, you know what I mean, to keep the law. Some sisters don't want to wear dresses and dress in modest apparel. Some sisters want to wear pants and be cool with it. You know what I mean? You shouldn't say nothing to me because women think that there's women pants. No, breeches wasn't made for women. You know what I mean? You see, so it wasn't made for women. The women was supposed to be in modest apparel. Now, if you're at home, you know what I mean, with your husband or something like that, wear what you want. You know what I mean? Because it's for modesty. It's for people who are gonna lust. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? It's simple laws that people dismiss. You know what I mean? But you can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose. All right, let's get Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, "And you hath he quickened who were dead in trespass and sins." Right? Quickened, we know, we understand that to be quickened, it doesn't say it right here, Salaki. To be quickened is to be made alive, right? And what makes you alive? Just like it says in Ezekiel 37, you know what I mean? Breathe the breath of life to the dry bones, right? It has to do with the word, It's to do with order. It has to do with the word, law, so on and so on. All right. Let's go back. Romans 7 and 11. Let's go to 11. All right. "For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. Was then that which is good made death unto me? God forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful." Right? Because if you're aware of the law, you know what I mean, the punishment is going to be a little bit more harsh. You have no excuse. Now, you can repent. Yeah, of course. Then it's up to the Most High whether he gives you mercy or not. You know what I mean? So it says, "For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me." Right? Let's go to Isaiah 44. 19 and 20. Right? "And none considereth in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, I have burned part of it in the fire. Yea, also I have baked bread upon the coals thereof. I have roasted flesh and eaten it. And shall I make the residue thereof an abomination? Shall I fall down to the stock of a tree? He feedeth on ashes, and a deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul, nor say, is there not a lie in my right hand?" You see what I'm saying? What's that saying? Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, something like that, right? So you're really deceiving yourself. That's why I went to that verse at first about examining yourself. Like I tell y'all all the time, when you examine yourself, you have to be honest. A lot of people are light on themselves. Some people aren't harsh enough. You know what I mean? Some people aren't harsh enough on themselves. So maybe you should be. Maybe you should be more harsh on yourself when examining yourself, because you'll let yourself slide. It's like when you work out by yourself, right? You won't push yourself as hard as if you have a workout partner, because they're going to help you push. You know what I'm saying? They're going to help you push. But if you're by yourself, you'd be like, that was enough. Same thing with examining yourself. You got to be honest. A lot of people don't want to look their flaws in the mirror. A lot of people don't want their flaws told to them. And like I said, Paul is going over this with the Romans, with our people in Rome, I should say. You know what I mean? He's going over this because this is what this is something that he's dealing with. And I'm saying that I know a lot of us deal with this too. I know it. And even if all y'all don't, I'll say I do. I'll say I do. I'm going to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Let's go Jeremiah 17:9. Salaki, give me one moment. Salaki, I had to let one of the brothers in. All right. Jeremiah 17, verse 9, right? We all know what that says. Jeremiah 17, verse 9 says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Right? We deceive ourselves. We deceive ourselves. We ain't honest with ourselves. And like I said, for Paul to be explaining this, he's explaining like the same thing that they're going to go through and the same thing that they're going to deal with. And like I said, Paul was a Pharisee. Paul was a Pharisee. And he's telling them like, man, I go through this. I battle myself. Right? Let's go Hebrews 3 and verse 13. Salaki, if I'm moving kind of fast. Like I said, I know y'all got to go to work tomorrow. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 13 says, but exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. Sometimes, like I said, we don't know what sin we're committing. Sometimes we don't know what sin we're committing because we don't know the law. Khan Debak, yeah, me too. Me too. I just waver. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we don't know what sin we're committing because we don't know the law. You might know the 10 Commandments. Not to eat certain foods. Keep the Sabbath and high holy days and feast days and so on and so forth. Those, right? But you're not knowing everything. You neglect the smaller things. You don't show mercy when you should show mercy. You don't, you know what I mean? You don't do these things and you neglect them, right? Let's go Isaiah 50. Isaiah 50, is that what no, not Isaiah 50. James 1 and verse 22 says, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. That's Christianity in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? That's Christianity in a nutshell. They don't follow the law. They don't keep the law. They'll tell you to be nice people and good people and, stuff like that, which ain't got nothing to do with it. They don't tell you to keep the Sabbath. I've been out street teaching before to where in front of a church to where they came and tried to sell us plates on the Sabbath. I was like, man, I rebuke the hell out them brothers. You know what I'm saying? I was like, come on, man, y'all just gonna break the Sabbath right here, right now? You know what I'm saying? So, yep, I rebuked them. All right. But you got to know what's good for you. You know what I mean? Know what's good for you. Let's get one more on this verse. Amos 2 and verse 6. Amos 2 and verse 6 says, "Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Israel and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they sold the righteous for silver and the poor for a pair of shoes." You see, we'll Salaki, we'll turn on our own people for money, fame, everything. We'll deny the Most High for those things. I think I gave y'all examples about that before when they threatened Nick Cannon about that, and they made him apologize to some Edomite rabbi and stuff like that. And he kind of like denounced everything. He like denied it. He didn't want to lose everything. You see? So, and our people will do that. Our people is quick to do that. This is why it's imperative to examine yourself and to be honest with yourself. All right? Let's go back to Romans. Romans 7, where we leave off. 14. Says, "For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin." Right? The law is spiritual. So like I said again, when people be like, "Oh, I'm just spiritual." No, the law is spiritual. Right? But I am carnal, which means you're fleshly. You're of the world. You know what I'm saying? Sold under sin. Right? So anytime people say that they're just spiritual, please hit them with this verse, because they full of it. All right. Verse 15, "For that which I do," Salakia, "for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I." All right. Paul writes this real crazy. All right. So I'm going to go to other translations. Here we go. Here's the NIV. It says, "I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do." All right, so we're just going to make that a simpler form, because Paul talking, boy, he talking like it's a riddle. You know what I mean? It's a riddle. So doesn't understand what he does, and what he doesn't want to do, he does. You know what I'm saying? What he hates, he'll do, right? What he hates, he'll do. But what he should do, Salaki, what he should do, he doesn't do. This goes for a lot of us. You know what I mean? Like we battle ourselves so much. This is what you call second guessing yourself, second thinking yourself, stuff like that, right? Like, should I do that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This goes into that. You know what I mean? You might know that it's wrong, but you do it anyway, right? Do it anyway, knowing you don't want to, knowing you shouldn't. All right? I'll give you an example. And this is from my personal life, right? We would go on licks sometimes. Now, this is wicked. We'd go on a lick, and I knew we shouldn't be there. So I would pray that the lick go right. Tell me that ain't wicked. You know what I'm saying? That's wicked. I'm praying that the Most High allows me to get away with some evil mess. You know what I'm saying? Tell me that ain't wicked. Knowing I shouldn't be there, knowing this ain't what we should be doing. You see what I'm saying? So this is what Paul is battling, right? And like I said, I'm sure that a lot of us battle this. I'm sure that a lot of us battle this, you know what I mean, too, right? Let's get Romans 14 on this. And 22. It says, "Hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before God. Happy is he that condemneth not himself in that thing which he alloweth." Right? We should be harsh on ourselves. We got to be harsh on ourselves. Got to examine ourselves properly. Examine yourself properly. Let's get Luke chapter 11 and verse 48. Luke 11 and verse 48. Truly ye bear witness that ye allow the deeds of your fathers, for they indeed killed them, and ye builded their sepulchres. Right? Speaking about the prophets, that our forefathers, killed the prophets. We're internally, we're like wicked people. We're battling this. We're trying to, we want the Most High to help us battle this. You know what I mean? We need the Most High to help us battle this. This is where laws, statutes, and commandments come into play, and faith in Yahushua, and so on and so on. You see what I'm saying? This is where this all comes into play. So we need a fighting chance. Let's get Psalm 65 and verse 3. Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, thou shalt purge them away. Right? How does it get purged away? We got to go through the fire. You have to go through the fire. But you're not going to truly go through the fire until you come to the knowledge of the Most High and you follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? You're truly not going to go through the fire. Why would he put you to the test if you're just going to refuse him and deny him anyway? This is why he says iniquities prevail against me. Right? You battling yourself, your sin sometimes beats you. You know what I mean? Sometimes your sin beats you because you don't know how to fight properly. Right? Let's go to chapter 119. Psalms 119, and I'll start at verse 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. Right? Like I said, you can't pick and choose. He said, unto all thy commandments. You can't pick and choose. You know what I mean? There is no picking and choosing. Either you all in or you not. Remember, there's no lukewarm. Ain't no lukewarm. All right? Let's get Galatians 5 and verse 17. Galatians 5 and verse 17 says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. Right? Your flesh battles the spirit. Your flesh battles the spirit. I tell people all the time, you are your own worst enemy. You're your own worst enemy because you have a war going on inside you. Your flesh and your spirit battling. You know what I mean? You got a whole war going on. Let's get the book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 7. Yeah, let's do it. Joshua chapter 1 verse 7 says, only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. Right? So the law will help us prosper. You turn to the right or to the left, now you're going to start to go off. All right? Verse 8, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. We should always have the word of the Most High in our mouth. Always. Right? But thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Right? Then. Then when you're following the Most High, when you meditate on the word day and night, you know what I mean? This is how we should be living, you know? And like I said, this is something that Paul is going over because he's battling this. He's battling it. He's battling his flesh. Let's get the book of Psalms 97 and verse 10. Ye that love the Lord hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked. Right? We hate evil. Right? We should hate evil. You see what I'm saying? But sometimes we don't. Sometimes you allow certain things, you know what I mean, that shouldn't happen. And knowing that you should be going against it. But like I say all the time, since it's a family member, since it's a relative, we let some stuff slide. And you shouldn't. You know what I mean? You shouldn't. Let's get one more on this verse. Yeah, let's get one more on this verse. Amos 5 and 15. Okay, Amos chapter 5, verse 15 says, hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord God of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. Who's the remnant of Joseph? You know what I mean? Us, right? You know what I mean? Ephraim, so on and so forth. I mean, more specifically right here. But, you know, so we're supposed to hate the evil and love the good. And evil just dwells in us, man. Evil dwells in us. We can't help it. It's there. You know what I mean? It's there. This is something present in our lives. We all grew up in Babylon. So now when you come into the truth, you're becoming a whole new person. You know what I mean? You're becoming a whole new person to your spouse. You're becoming a whole new person to your family. You see what I'm saying? Everyone is trying to relearn you, and you're trying to relearn everyone else. Unless you met someone in the truth, now you already know them. But even then, you'll probably see them slide a little bit. You know what I mean? Because they have a past. You know, this is why I'm always like upfront with y'all with some of my past. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, like Debak and Michael Holly, they know more depth, and Captain Zakaria. You know what I'm saying? But but that's because we talk to each other on, you know, personal levels and stuff like that. But everybody got a past. So it's easy to backtrack sometimes. You know what I mean? It's already in your nature. You done spent 35 years in Babylon, and now you got 3 years in the truth. You ain't finna just change like that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that simple. It's a battle. So you're battling yourself. Remember this, the spirit and the flesh battle. You know what I mean? Within you. So this is the fight. This is why in Ephesians it says that the battle is spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It's a spiritual battle. All right. Let's go back to Romans. Where we at? 7. Oops. And verse 16. Book of Romans chapter 7, verse 16 says, if then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Right? Let's touch on that. Psalms 119 again. In verse 27 and 28. It says, make me to understand the way of thy precepts, so shall I talk of thy wondrous works. My soul melteth for heaviness. Strengthen thou me according unto thy word. Right? Where is our strength? Our strength is in the Lord. Right? Our strength is when we know these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is what helps convert us, like we read in Psalms 19 and 7. This is what helps change us. This is what helps, you know, correct us. It keeps us in line. You know what I mean? The law keeps us in line. If you follow it, it'll keep you in line. You know what I'm saying? If you follow it. But if you don't, then you're going to go off. You know, Simple as that. You're going to go off. Let's go back. Oops, my bad. Romans 7. And where we at? 17. Now then it is more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. You see what I'm saying? Like, we all have something that dwells in us. You know, like we all have vices, right? Whether you got a vice of smoking and you hiding it from the congregation, whether you got a vice of you're an alcoholic, you know what I'm saying? A vice of sexual lust, a vice of if you're a man and you like boys. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we all battle something. You know what I mean? We all battle something. So it's sin that dwells in you. It dwells in you. Yahushua gives you an example. I'm not going to go to it. But Yahushua gives you an example in the book of Matthew chapter 4. When he is tempted, he gives you the example of how to battle this. Right? This is why he always says, for it is written, for it is written. He's showing you how to battle it. You know what I mean? We know that for it is written, that means it's going to be in the Old Testament, whether it's the laws or the prophets or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's written. It's already written. So he's giving you the tools on how to battle yourself. You see what I'm saying? He's giving you the tools on how to battle yourself. Where we at verse 17, right? But sin that dwelleth in me. Let's get James. Nope. Yeah, James. That's what I want. Chapter 4. Yep, that's what I want. James chapter 4, verse 1 says, from whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lust that war in your members? See what I'm saying? James knows that. Like, even in chapter 1, he says, you are tempted by your own lust, right? So the way you chase money, the way you chase women, the way you chase anything. You know what I mean? People think that lust just has to do with like a sexual thing. No, it doesn't. It's a desired want. You know what I'm saying? You can lust for anything. You can lust for cars, whatever. Like I tell people, anything could become an idol. You could lust for anything, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, you're your own enemy. You're your own enemy. Let's keep going. James 4 and verse 2. Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. Ye fight in war, yet ye have not because ye ask not. Ye ask and receive not because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? And we just went over that word, which means hatred, right? Hatred with God. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Do ye think that the scripture saith in vain, the spirit that dwelleth in us lusteth to envy? You see what I'm saying? Like, scripture already says that the spirit that dwells in us lusted. Right? So like I said, that's why Paul says sin dwells in them. Sin dwells in us too. It's there. You know what I mean? Some brothers and sisters who think they just up there, just high, holy, holier than, holy and holy, however you put it. You know what I'm saying? No, it's still in you. You may keep the law. You may keep high holy days. You may keep the Sabbath, but let something go wrong. You know what I mean? When me and Dabak did the class on You're Not Ready for a Righteous Man, I pointed out that when it comes to emotion and feeling, right, that a lot of sisters throw scripture out the window. You see what I'm saying? So it's in there. You You know what I'm saying? Some brothers and sisters, they fake the funk to one another. You know what I mean? Sisters come, shalom, and they'll be all humble and extra, you know what I'm saying? But they get at home, they a dragon. You know what I'm saying? Or when the brother gets at home, he's a tyrant. So it's in there. We just have to know how to battle it. Right? Let's go back. Romans 7 and 18. Says, let's see. Yeah, we'll do 18 and 19. All right. Says, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, I know that in me dwelleth no good thing. Remember, Yahushua says there is not one good. There's no one good here, right? We are battling. We're fighting to be like Yahushua. But he said there's none good, right? We battle within ourselves, right? When we show everyone else, we put on a representative. You know what I'm saying? We put on a representative. So we just have to learn to win the fight, right? For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. We might want to do right and do good and be humble and so on and so forth, but it's hard to get to. Ain't as easy as we think. Some brothers might be more humble than others. It might be easy for them, but that's not their vice. You know what I mean? That's not the vice that they have. That's not a problem that they're dealing with. Like I said, everybody has their own vices. Everybody has their own things that they deal with. We might not have the same problem. All right? Verse 19, for the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. Right? Like I said, again, Paul is showing you that he's battling himself. But remember, Paul is teaching about Yahushua. Paul is teaching in the diaspora, right? So he's teaching them about Yahushua. He's teaching them about repentance. He's teaching them about how we have grace and mercy. He's teaching them certain things about the law. You know what I mean? He's being more specific, which he didn't really understand before. Remember, Paul was retaught. Right? Verse 20. Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. You see, Paul say that again. Sin dwells in him, right? Because he's battling himself. And like I said, we all do it. If you say that you don't battle yourself, I would never believe you. You know what I mean? Let's get some precepts, right? Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. This is all men, right? This is all men, right, at that time. Except he had Noah and his family, and so on and so forth, right? But at that time, wickedness was upon all men. It's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. I'm going to just read this. I'm not going to pull it up. Let me see. This is the book of... This book is 2nd Esdras, chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 20. It says, and yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart. So the Most High didn't take a wicked heart away from us, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them. For the first Adam bearing a wicked heart transgressed and was overcome, and so be all they that are born of him, right? So the Most High left us to have a wicked heart so that the law can prevail. And now you can, if you see the law prevail over your wickedness, now you can see some of the Most High's glory. It's all for the Most High, right? So now you can see some of the Most High's glory if the law is what prevails over your wickedness, right? Then you see it firsthand because it's you that's dealing with it, right? Let's go to Job chapter 15. We only got a few more. Like I said, I ain't gonna make this long. Job chapter 15, verse 14 says, what is it? What is man, Salaki, what is man that he should be clean? And he which is born of a woman that he should be righteous. Behold, he putteth no trust in his saints, yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much more abominable and filthy is man, which drinketh iniquity like water, right? Which drinketh iniquity like water. How much more filthy? All right, let's get Isaiah chapter 64 and verse 6. All right, Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6 says, but we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are as filthy rags. What is this talking about? Filthy rags. If you actually go into the Hebrew, let me pull it up real fast. All right, let me take this off. And I'm going to show y'all something. I just pulled up something real simple so y'all can see. All right. Let me see if y'all can see it. Yep. All right. Isaiah chapter 64 in the Bible uses a phrase that literally translates to menstrual cloths or garment of menstruation in the Hebrew to describe human righteousness, right? Let's see. Literal meaning, while many versions like the KJV translate this as filthy rags, the original Hebrew term refers specifically to menstrual cloths. Remember, if a woman is on her cycle, she is considered unclean. So our righteousness is unclean. It's weak. Remember, during that time, during that period of time, that week that they're there, they are to separate for those 7 days. You see what I'm saying? So this is what our righteousness is, as filthy rags. So it's equivalent to a woman's cycle. All right. Let's go back to, let's finish off that Isaiah 64 and 6. But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. You see that? So since we battle ourselves and we're our own worst enemy, we can be taken away. Or removed, I should say. We can be removed because we're full of sin, we're full of iniquity. You know what I mean? You're battling your spirit. You're battling you're battling your spirit, right? Your flesh is battling your spirit, if I could talk right. All right. Let's get the book of Matthew 15 and 19. Book of Matthew chapter 15 and verse 19 says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth him not, right? So this is very specific because this is in our hearts, right? And we know that the heart, when it's speaking of that, is talking about your thoughts, talking about your mind. But these come out of your mind. These come evil thoughts. This is why you're raging war against yourself. You're fighting these things. You're fighting these things within yourself. You know what I mean? Fighting these things within yourself. I know a lot of Christian ministers and pastors that battle themselves with sexual lust. Look at the Catholic Church. They touch little boys and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not even battling themselves because they're just carnal anyway. You know what I mean? But us who is spiritual, we are battling ourselves. All right. Let's get Mark 7 and verse 21. Mark 7 and verse 21 says the same thing, right? For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile the man. Right? So we have an understanding of what defiles us, what pollutes us, and this is what we're waging war against within yourself. Let's get Romans chapter 8, verse 5. Romans chapter 8, verse 5 says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. Right? Because if you're of the spirit, then you're going to follow the law. You're going to follow Yahweh Shai. You're going to be obedient to the Most High. You follow the things of the flesh, you're going to do what you want. You're going to follow traditions of the way of the world. You're going to follow the traditions of man, so on and so on. You know what I mean? A lot of people put like, I always use this. A lot of people put their families before the Most High. And that will be your detriment. A lot of people put their families against the Most High, before the Most High. That'll be your downfall. Right? Verse 6. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. So if we dwell in the flesh, we can't please the Most High. Right? Because carnal mind is enmity against God, which is hatred against God, because you're going to go against them. Like I said, a lot of people will choose their family before the Most High, whether it be their children, their grandma, their mama, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Their brother, their sister, their daddy, whoever it is. And I see that a lot. You know what I mean? Especially if a person hears it, especially if a person hears it. And like when I first came into truth, I was like brutal. You know what I mean? I was brutal. Like I told my sister her kids ain't got a shot because her kids is Edomites. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, your kids ain't got a shot. She don't follow the Most High. Because some people don't agree with it. And what they don't agree with, they'll go against the Most High for it. You know what I mean? Let's go to John chapter 3 and verse 6. Which says, that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again. And of course, Nicodemus was confused, like, how can I be born again? We're born in the spirit, right? We can't keep the fleshly ways. And there's your battle. There's your battle. All right, let's wrap it up. Couple more. Go back to Romans 7 and 21. Romans 7 and 21 says, I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I see another law in my members warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. You see how strong this is? You know what I'm saying? Like he said that it's warring against the law of his mind and bringing him into captivity. right? To the law of sin, right? Let's get 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 25. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 25 says, in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if God peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. How are you taken captive? Because you are captive to your sin, right? Remember, the truth shall make you free, right? The truth shall make you free. Let's see that. John chapter 8, verse 32. John chapter 8, verse 32 says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, right? What is it freeing you from? It's freeing you from the bondage of sin. I know a lot of Christians use this way out of context, but it is freeing you out of the bondage of sin, right? And we'll get one more and we'll wrap it up. Psalms 142 and verse 7. Bring my soul out of prison, that I may praise thy name. The righteous shall compass me about, for thou shalt deal bountifully with me. Right? How do we be freed out of prison? By keeping the law. How do we battle ourselves? By keeping the law. We have to have an understanding. You have to have an understanding that you're going to battle yourself. Stop thinking that you're just, okay, I keep the law and I keep the high holy days, so on and so forth, and I'm good. No, because you're going to battle yourself. I guarantee you battle yourself with friendships, with marriages, with keeping the law, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. And I bet you don't never think of you being the common denominator. Everybody quick to point the finger at somebody else. You know what I mean? Well, I did this because you did this. You see what I'm saying? Nah, pay attention to the common denominator. If you can't keep a man, who's the common denominator? If you can't keep a woman, who's the common denominator? You see what I'm saying? You have to examine yourself, and when you examine yourself, be completely honest. Completely honest. You know what I mean? Take accountability. You know, we talked about that before. Take accountability. Be honest with yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to battle yourself. Your spirit is going to battle your flesh all day long. And then you're going to get into autopilot again, and you're just going to keep high holy days. You're just going to keep feast days, and you're going to let things run off your shoulder, and you think that you're good. Not knowing that you're slipping and you're not even paying attention. You're digging yourself into a hole, not even know that you're digging. All right? So we'll wrap it up right there. Lord's will, y'all was edified. If you can, put a 1 in the chat for me. Like I said, I didn't want to take too long with it. So y'all just throw 1 in the chat for me if you were edified and had an understanding. The water, King, the water. All praise. Sis, the water. All right, so y'all see the ticker at the bottom. Y'all could always donate to Lions of Israel. Remember the Passover coming up April 1st. Of course, email is at the bottom, thelionsofisrael.com, or join LOI149@gmail.com, if you want to join the congregation. Stay tuned for Detroit's class tomorrow, Lord's will, and Priest class Saturday. Glad y'all was all edified. With that, I'll say Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbat Barakatham. Shamar Thom, and I will say Shalom.
Spacious air, reflecting the way of life under the Florida sky. Even the lobbies funnel in the great outdoors.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Chosen. They say the chain of Shaitan is not that strong. They say his time is running out, he ain't got that long. They say murder, murder, kill, this is not that song. Said I won't amount to nothing, they got that wrong. Cause I was set apart and I was shown the light. And if I get the kingdom, I'll be clothed in white. 1/3 will be delivered and the rest were blinded. Their fate is set in stone, what you ain't read the fine print? Christ is gonna give a crown to us. In the end we'll have the nations bowing down to us, with their faces to the ground to us. It's the truth, as crazy as it sounds to us. Jacob forever rules, and we're his precious jewels. Showed us love and patience, put us above the nations. And that's the gospel, thank God for choosing me. Bad news for you, it's really good news for me.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His
We're not the same as these other
image.
nations. Let me tell you why. We have a different kind of shine, a different kind of mind. The rhythm's not the same, we're on a different type of time. With a different kind of pace, a different kind of race. The season's not the same, we have a different kind of taste. A different kind of salt, we are so not them. Got my sword and my shield, man, I'm so locked in. And when I came to serve Yahweh, I put my whole heart in. So I can't sit calm, I'm no Martin. And that's a reach, y'all, chosen to teach y'all. Every Sabbath you can find us in the streets, y'all. Dare ya Allah, my nickname is Priest, y'all. In the gym, they say that I'm a beast, y'all. Set apart, the nations all hating me. Set a trap, they lying in wait for me. Chris Paul, they don't wanna play with me. But if you love me, I'm asking that you pray with me. Cause
I was set apart for God's use.
chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Chosen. And thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people, chosen above all people that's on the face of the earth. That's Deuteronomy 7:6. That's you, black and Latin man. Chosen. That's you, black and Latin woman. Yeah. But we the chosen.
Bringing her home.